How's everybody doing out there? This is Pete. And we are live. The reason I'm live is because we got to go over a few little things today. And before we do, I thought maybe, a lot of people like to look at my shop and they like to see stuff in my office, and why don't we do a little walk around? How you doing there? Let's see, what do we got here? We got Cars More and More. Kirk's, how you doing? Kirk's Records. So you own a record store, do you, Kirk? You own a lot of records? Look over here, guy. We got Kirk's Record Store online. The whole top shelf of this, and I actually got 2 other boxes full. I just don't even know where to put them. All these records are Christmas records, people. And I got 2 banker boxes full of Christmas records as well. I love Christmas music. These are old vintage Christmas albums. There's one right here, you can see. So all the albums on this very top shelf, because Christmas is my favorite holiday, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute, if I don't lose track of what I'm talking about. But every single album on this top shelf, there you go, look at that one. Christmas with Arthur Godfrey. Wow. I'm going to have to record that one, and yeah. So I grew up with albums, okay, guys? And my mom was like this. She would mail order these albums. Now, these weren't her albums. I actually searched and seizured. But she had a lot of these record sets. Time and Life, Reader's Digest. These are Reader Digest. And she would listen to those throughout the day and pretty much piss me off because we had to listen to that shit over and over and over. But she thought that it was a good deal to buy record sets instead of buy individual records. Now, if you look up here, these are all Christmas sets. I actually got 2 of the together at Christmas time here. Okay, my clock just ticked or dinged. Beautiful clock. I would say that's about a 1906 to a 1915, maybe 1920s. It's called a Johann. It's from Europe. It's a Johann. And the clock itself, let me tell you about these clocks. The clock itself is a Johann, but the case is basically from another company. So the company would buy these clocks, these Johann clocks, and then they would make custom cases for the clock itself. And then they would sell them to people. And if you look right here, there's a tag right there. And that's the name of the business where the clock used to hang out in the UK. So I have that clock completely restored. When I say restored, I'm talking the clock mechanism. And that thing works actually better than a Rolex watch. Let's look over here. Here's another clock. I picked this one up at an estate sale. And I'm waiting on my buddy Tom to send the clock back out in Philadelphia. He's completely restoring the clock. But we can go ahead and look inside one of these cases. And there is the dong right there. That's the dong. So when it hits it, yeah, it's a little bit louder than that when the hammer hits it. But so these were custom made cases. They would buy the clocks from the manufacturer, and then they'd make these cases. And then people would buy them and hang them in their places of business. So these are my favorite clocks, these wall hanging exotic wood clocks. I love them. I love them. Here's a picture of me and Minnie up in Aspen, Colorado, mountain biking. I'll be putting a stop to that pretty soon. I won't be biking after Monday for a while. So yeah, we got a lot of memory stuff going on in here, guys. A lot of stuff. A lot of people say, what do you got these old posters for? What are those posters for? Those posters are movies that I saw in the drive-in back in the 60s when I was a little kid. My dad would take us to biker movies in at the drive-in. And I'm talking when we were 4, 5, 6 years old. He'd get us in the old Etzel station wagon or the Chevy station wagon, whichever one we had at the time. And then we'd go to the drive-in, and he'd basically force us to watch these movies. And 9 out of 10 times when we went to the drive-in and we watched these movies, these old biker movies, one of my brothers, my two brothers, would normally have nightmares for days from the movies. Speaking of movies, my older brother Anthony, passed away from drugs when he was 15. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Everybody knows that movie. Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Well, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. My brother had nightmares from that movie for probably 2 weeks. But, my dad didn't give a shit. Grow up when you're 6 years old, 7 years old. I don't know if anybody knows what that is right there. I'm pointing my finger at. That's a Benjamin BB gun. A Benjamin Franklin BB gun, that's solid brass. And that's not my original one that I had, but that's an exact, identical, 100% authentic replica of the one I owned. And then, of course, we had toy guns when we were little kids that they don't sell anymore, being the communist, socialist world that we live in today with all the mass murders going on. We don't want to give little kids bows and arrows and cowboy guns anymore. So, that day is old. This picture right here has probably been with me longer in my life than anything else. I've shown people this picture before. That's a picture of Jesus. I don't know if I can get a good angle on it because we got reflection. My grandma bought that at Woolworths back in the late 30s, I believe. And she had it hanging in her house the whole time before I was born, of course. And when I was a little kid, I always told her, when you die, I want that picture. That's all I want. And of course, when you're a little kid and you tell people that, you're not really taking it serious. You're just rambly talking. So the last time I saw my grandma alive, she gave me that picture along with a lot of other stuff on this shelf that we can't really go through. Here's some unique things. These are all hand-carved. Look at this. This is hand-carved. All these are wood, okay? These are all hand-carved little statues that I've collected throughout my journeys. And I got a shitload of them. I got a shitload of hand carvings. And these are pretty cool. There's a clock in the back there. Right there. That's actually no, that's not a Winchester chime. This one over here is. This is a Winchester chime clock in the back. One of these days I plan on restoring it. We got our clown here. Now I forgot the name of this clown. And one of my YouTube fans named David Loist, he's on Facebook, gave me that clown. And I will cherish that clown the rest of my life. That's a beautiful clown. It's a very detailed and highly, you can see how, so we'll be keeping that clown forever. Of course, we got Captain Spaulding. My grandma had this bastard right here. One of these guys, I don't know which one, not these ones. These were ones I found on my journeys in life. Sitting on her bar downstairs in the basement. Now, this little statue right here, let me tell you about that statue. My dad used to do ceramics. My mom and dad did ceramics when I was real little. And he made a statue of that. It was probably about 1.5 feet tall. So I was at an estate sale one time and I found that replica of that. So that reminds me of that situation. So we got a lot of stuff going on here. And a lot of stuff. Here's something right here. You want to hear a story about Minnie the Body Shop Girl. When I was hot and heavy into buying Snap-on tools, I was buying these trucks. I was buying these little Snap-on toys, which ain't worth shit. Don't let the Snap-on man fool you. These things aren't worth a fucking dime. And Minnie found out that I was buying these toys and was furious. She was furiously pissed. That's a Snap-on Hot Rod 57. And there's a 34 Ford in the background. Furiously pissed off. I mean, she was steaming at the ears, slamming the fucking doors, hollering, screaming. She went out to the Snap-on man, and she literally told the Snap-on man, do not sell him any more fucking toys. He's not buying no more fucking Snap-on bullshit toys. So that was the end of that. Anybody that grew up in the 70s remembers this. That's actually generic beer. Generic beer. That's right. The government used to sell generic beer. Actually, they would give it to you for free. You had to be on the list, food stamp list and poor man's list, but you get it for free, generic beer, along with the food. Here's the beer my dad drank, Coors. Fucking alcoholic piece of shit that he was, but so yeah, that kind of reminds me of him when I look at that. So we got a lot of stuff to look at here. Here's our first place trophy out of 100, I think it was 180 or 225 bicycles. And there it is right there, 1995. This was the classic Lowrider International Lowrider Tour, Dallas Market Hall, 1995. And my son won first place on his lowrider bicycle. And here's the bicycle right here, hanging over my desk. So we didn't get grand prize. The guy next to us got grand prize, but my son PJ, he got first place. And we actually got round trip tickets to Los Angeles to the Nationals, but we didn't have any way to bring our bicycle. That was on us to bring the bicycle, and we never went there. So yeah. That picture right there, where'd that come from? My dad made that with his shopsmith. Anybody that doesn't know what a shopsmith is, it's a tool that turns into 10 different tools. It's a woodworking. He made those pictures right there too. And this is when I was around 5 or 6 years old. He made these and then he would sell them. But my mom kept these ones along with the other one. And then I got them. But yeah, I got a lot of crazy shit from my childhood, people. We're going to go ahead and set the camera here because my knee, I'm going to be honest with you, my fucking knee is killing me. My knee is killing me. We can't walk around anymore. I'm sorry. We looked around. We checked it out. And that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this around. And this is our 5-day check-in, basically. We got a lot of people online. How y'all doing out there? God bless everybody. I want to say that first of all. I was going to tell you about something, and I forgot what it was. But, you know, I got so much crazy shit in my office, I forget what's going on. Let's see who we got online here. I'll go ahead and do some shout-outs. We'll start at the top. Cars and More, Kirk's Record Store, Z-Racer, Robert Magny, Robert Williams, Alan Wind. We got Dean K. How you doing today, buddy? Kyle Lockerbie, One Night 777, Matthew Peoples. Thanks for joining in, guy. Matt. Kirk's Record Store, just a name, no record store. Okay. Well, I could have a record store. I got like 8 or 10 boxes full of records. I don't have no place to put them. Now, you're probably saying, well, what do you play those records on? Well, let's go ahead and show you. I play it on this right here. This is an exact copy replica of the one that I had when I was a little kid, or should I say my mom had. This is a 1965 Magnavox Astrosonic, and it works perfect. Mint condition. This is what I play my albums on. Beautiful machine. I actually keep it in tip-top shape. I clean the back of it out. I silicone spray the knobs, and I keep it in really good condition. There's some more albums in here, of course. So yeah, I mean, you know, this is kind of my life story is what my office is. I don't know if I told you what this chair is. This is the exact chair that I would get my hair cut on from when I was about 4 years old to about 8 years old. 9 years old, I would get my hair. My dad would buzz us on that chair. That's the original authentic chair right there. So And then I got these speakers hooked up to it. And the reason I got them speakers hooked up to my Astrosonic is so when I record albums on my Astrosonic and then I'll upload them on one of my YouTube channels. So yeah, I mean, you know, you got to keep the past in your life, but you don't got to dwell on the past to bring you down, I might say. Keeping the past in your life to remind you of good times and bad times is a good thing. But when you keep the past in your life and dwell on only bad things in your life, that's a bad thing. We had a guy, his name was Sean Brooks, and that wasn't his real name, I found out. He told me that. He had his name changed. His real name was Dupree. And when he turned 18, he had his name changed because he hated his dad. And I believe he had 2 brothers, but he was 70 years old. And I think I told everybody about the story about our buddy Sean. I used to talk to him every day when I went out and rode my bicycle. I would literally put the phone on my phone holder, and while I was riding my bike, I would talk to him. And then I talked to him, you know, a couple more times a day. And Sean is the guy that owned, he had three or four Monte Carlos. I got 2 videos on this channel right here of him bringing his Monte Carlos to my shop. And Sean turned out to be a really, really, really nice guy. Well, all he would do is dwell on the past. And it wouldn't be good stuff. It would be bad stuff. It would be about his dad. It would be about his brothers. It would be about all the relatives, that, which ain't much. I guess his nephew, how he hated the world and he hated his life, and all he wanted to basically do is die. And I tried to talk to him and tell him, look, dude, it's not that bad, bro. I even invited him. I said, look, why don't I buy you a bus ticket? I'll buy you a bus ticket, a round trip bus ticket. You come out here to Moab, you can stay in my office and you can hang out for as long as you want. Well, he never did do that because, a lot of situations go on. Well, he got sick over at Golden Corral. He got a flu or a cold. And that was like when COVID was going around. And the last 3 or 4 times I talked to him, he wasn't really all there. And the last time I talked to him, he said, I can't breathe. My head is killing me. I'm hurting very bad. I can't talk anymore. I got to go. And that was the last thing he told me. About a month and a half later, 2 months later, I got a call from a guy that he used to work with. And he said, Pete, I hate to tell you, Sean died. Now, Sean was a hermit. Sean was also a hoarder. He lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, and he lived in the same apartment for 33 years. So he had all his 3 or 4 Monte Carlos there. So anyway, the guy called and said they found him dead in his bed. And they took his phone, and they were calling phone numbers to try to, get a hold of somebody. And I did get some phone numbers that weren't familiar from Dallas, Texas, and I didn't answer the phone because if I don't know the phone number on my phone, I won't answer it. And I'm thinking one of those phone numbers was, of course, the coroner's office of the police station. So I was really devastated, and I was shocked that Sean took his life, basically took his life. He had opportunities to call ambulances. He had opportunities to go to the hospital. He had all these opportunities. And I told him, dude, you need to call the ambulance. I didn't know his address, or I would have called him. I didn't know where he lived. I know he lived in Plano, Texas. I went to his apartment one time. He wouldn't let me in there because he basically claimed it was a hoarder mess and there wasn't nowhere to even stand. He had a talking bird. The bird lived in the bathroom. Now, anybody that knows anything about 1-bedroom apartments knows that you ain't got no windows in your 1-bedroom apartment bathroom. You got a bathtub, a sink, and a toilet. That's all. That's it. I said, why don't you put the bird out there in front of a window? Are you crazy? I don't have no room. There's no room to put him in front of a window. The only place that I got where he can sit is in the bathroom. Well, how long has he lived in the bathroom? 7 years. 7 years, this talking bird in a cage has lived in the bathroom. So I'm presuming that they found his body approximately a month and a half, 2 months later. And I'm presuming that the bird died with him. Very, very sad situation. All this boils down to one thing, people. Dwelling on the past. I don't look at my past in my office here. This is my past. Whether I brought it with me from a childhood or a teenager or a young adult and I still own it, or I went to garage sales or estate sales and I found the stuff. I looked for stuff that was my past, that was good stuff. All right? My dad used to beat the shit out of us when we were little kids. Remember I told you about the shopsmith? Well, my dad had a lock on the basement door on the inside so we couldn't get out. He would make 3 paddles out of 1/8-inch plywood, and he would beat our ass till the paddle broke on us. And then we would have to sit there and watch each one of us get beat to shit. It would take several hours, okay? So I know all about bad childhoods and bad memories and all that. But I try to bring the past into my life as a good thing, not a dwelling thing that says, poor, poor me. I've said this before, and the reason I talk about all this is because there's a lot of you guys and girls out there that lived shitty lives and you can't cope with it. And you're depressed all the time and you don't know what to do. I mean, all I can tell you, I'm not a psychiatrist. All I can say is you got to let it go. And if you can't learn to let it go, then you're the one that's losing out on what is out there in the world for you to enjoy. So that's kind of a little angle of, our speech that we want to talk about. We got Matthew Peoples, One Night 777, Ed Martesas, Edward Martesas, Dean K, CRVW, Jose Gomez, Amateur Technician, Alicia Chancellor. We got our buddy Frank. We're going to go look at his car in a minute. We got Frank Beto on here. He's actually the guy that owns the Mustang. And we're going to go look at that car in a few seconds. Let's see. We got Dr. Dab. We got 302 Vortec, Crown of the Truth, and Robert Rhymes. I hope I named everybody. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Air Grabber. There you go. Z Racer. Captain Spaulding. Okay. We're here talking about my knees today, guys. I'm getting major knee surgery, and I'm not going to bullshit around. I'm not going to jerk around. I'm going to get one knee done, and hopefully in a month and a half, I'll get the other one done. I'm going to be down for several months. I'll be able to do light-duty work. I'm not going to overdo myself. I've been told by dozens and dozens of people that have had knee surgeries, knee replacements, don't overdo it. Do exactly what they tell you to do, and everything will work out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm an anxious guy. I'm the type of guy that has to stay busy all the time. I hate sitting around, but I have to do what I got to do to make myself better, just like living in the past. I live in the past as a good thing, not a bad thing. So I do what I got to do to put the bad past behind me. Does that make sense? And that's one of my main goals in life, is doing what you got to do what you have to do. I can sit here and I can dwell on my mom and dad and being forced to go to drive-ins when I'm 4, 5, 6 years old and watching hardcore biker movies and having nightmares and, all this. I can dwell on that as a bad thing, or I can dwell on it and say, man, I remember when my dad took me to those fucking movies. I remember that. And I can think of a good thing and say, you know, actually in reality, it was actually pretty cool. I can do that. And I can turn it around to make myself be the guy I got to be. And that's how it is with my surgery, my knee surgery. This is the knee we're going to be doing first right here. Hurts like hell right now. I guarantee you when I go out there and start working, I'm going to get about 45 minutes or an hour of work, and I'm going to have to sit down. I don't know. Can you see that? There it is right there. So that's the first knee that's going to be done. And we're going to get that done on Sunday. Sunday's the day for that. I mean, I'm sorry, not Sunday, Monday. Monday's going to be the day for my right knee. So where am I at on getting my knee done, my friend Pete? Where are you at right now? Well, let me tell you where I'm at. They gave me this ointment on day 5 before your surgery. Actually, on day 7 before your surgery, you have to quit taking all medications and all vitamin supplements, everything. So I got this ointment that I've been putting on my knee, and it makes it feel pretty good, but I can't use that no more. I got 2 hours of sleep last night because my knees were fucking killing me, and anybody that has knee pains knows what I'm talking about. So when you get this knee situation going and you got to have your knees replaced, all this shit just really depresses you. And it goes back to the past thing. You can either look at that and be depressed, or you can, pray to God and do something about it. That's all there is to it, okay? And if you put your problems in God's hands, and I'm not saying, hey, God, here you go, take them, and sit back and think that things are going to happen, that ain't how it works. You got to give to get. Now, when you figure that out, then shit will start happening. Until you learn how to give, God isn't going to give. You won't get from God. So you got to learn, and you got to think and diabolically plan, what do I got to do to get? And you'll figure it out. Some people it takes a little longer. Some people get it right away. I mean, it's a hard thing to explain on how to do. I feel very, very grateful. I feel that I am a chosen few to even be considered to get my knees replaced. I never thought that in my whole life that if something happened like this to me that I would actually be able to get this done. So I thank God completely for that. And I also thank everybody out there for all your prayers on it. So we're on day 5, and day 5, I got to start taking this ointment and putting it in my nose twice a day. The doctor said that was for an antibiotic, so I don't get any germs or contagious something when I'm in the hospital. So I got to do that for 5 days until I actually get the surgery. On day 3, I got to take this soap, and I got to scrub myself down with this soap. And I got to wash myself, bathe myself once a day with that. And so that's the 2 things I got to do. And then I got this app that I got to follow, and I got to do these exercises. And they got me up to walking 8,000 steps a day. And 8,000 steps equals approximately 3.5 miles. Yesterday, I actually did 8,800 steps in my shop. I didn't go bike riding yesterday. So that was just from standing on the concrete, walking around back and forth in the shop and working on that Mustang. So that was like 3.8 miles of standing on my knees and walking around. Very painful. But I got 5 days to go, and I will bring my phone with me, and I will have a live video as I'm in the hospital to basically take you through the procedure. They wanted me to get a spinal tap shot. I guess it numbs the lower of your body. And I'm kind of refusing to do that because I was told I've heard several people that got it, and once it wears off, the pain hits you like a brick in your face, and it's extreme pain. I would rather just wake up and have the pain there already and then work my way through it until it goes away. They're going to put me on, they said that when you wake up, you'll probably be on a machine that makes your knee do this. All right, kind of, you know, back and forth movement. And then when I'm fully awake, they will literally take me out of bed and make me walk. So I'll be in rehab from the minute I'm out of surgery, basically. But that's how it's going so far with the knee thing. I want to thank everybody out there for the prayers that you've given me. And I want to take those prayers and I want to take them and throw them out into the universe to the people that need them worse than I do. There's always going to be somebody that's in worse shape than you are. But the real deal is that person that's in worse shape than you are, you don't know the pain that they're dealing with, and all you can deal with is the pain that you got, and you got to focus on what's going on in your life. I pray for all the people out there that need prayers, but I'm also grateful to Jesus Christ and God for doing what they have done to me to get my situation repaired. I think I'm starting to just ramble. I'm not even making any sense now. So we're going to go outside and we're going to look at the Mustang, and we're going to talk about that for a few minutes. And then, to be honest with you people, I got to go to work because I have a goal in life right now. And the goal is to get that Mustang in primer before I go down. That is my main goal. And of course, once that's done, then completely clean my shop thoroughly, organize everything, and then have it prepared and ready. So when I'm prepared and ready to go back to work, everything's organized and ready for me to do so. Another reason I want to get the Mustang in primer stage is because I'll be able to go ahead and block sand the primer while I'm healing up. Even if I can just do it for an hour a day, you know, that's all I care about, maybe 2 hours. Just something to break the monotony of what's going to happen next, you might say. And that's a good lesson to basically get over your past and quit living in your past, is do something every day to take your mind off it and ease the situation. Let's go outside and let me get up here. Very hard for me to get up. I'm telling you, I'm not getting this surgery soon enough. I just thank God. That's all I can say. So let me get up here and we will go outside and look at the Mustang. So yeah, let's go outside. We're going to go outside now, and there's the Mustang right there. Now we got the Camaro, and every time I put that damn car cover on it, the frickin' wind blows it off. So I'll be putting that back on, but we finally got the drivetrain in the Camaro, and it's ready to start bolting all the shit on it and getting it going. But this is what we've been working on right here. And there's actually more body work on it than I thought. I thought that the body work was going to be easy and simple, but really, in reality, there's a lot of body work. These rocker panels, especially this one, has really put a thorn in my ass, or should I say a stick. And to do the body work on that, you really have to lay down on the ground, okay? And just to let everybody know, I am not getting a lift, so don't leave a comment and say you need to get a lift, because I'm not buying one. I actually have it wired up over here in one of these boxes up here. One of these boxes is wired up for a lift. If I want to put a lift in here, I got the wires running to the box. I think it's that one. I think it's that one right there. But anyway, the wires are there if I want to, but I'm not putting a lift in here. It ain't going to happen. So please don't leave a comment and say you need to get a lift. I appreciate that. So the rocker panel finally got done yesterday on this side. This was the worst rocker panel. This is where I spliced the rocker panel in, and it was due to being T-boned in this area right in here where we got T-boned at. The quarter panels, what can I say about those? That's the best fitting quarter panel I've ever used. It came from a company called Muscle Car GT. And in the description of this video, if you are in the process of restoring an old classic car and you need body parts, I will put Ralph's phone number in the description out in Dallas, Texas. And he's the only one I know that can get these exclusive Muscle Car GT body parts. If you look at that quarter panel, you don't see any body work on it. The only body work you see is where I put it in at the top up here, and then I spliced it in here. Now, why did I splice that corner in? Because I wanted to keep the factory seam. I didn't want to lose that factory seam, so I spliced it in right here. Very important when you're restoring an old antique classic car. So if you're looking for body parts for your car, there's only one person that I trust, and we're actually ordering a deck lid from him, and that's Ralph out there in Dallas, Texas. Very honest guy, and will get you the parts you need. So look in the description of the video if you need body parts for your classic car. Ralph is the man to get them. I went ahead and straightened all this out with my dent puller, which you can see right there. But I had to put a skim coat on it just to make sure it was level. So I got to block sand that. And then once that's done, we're ready to actually put the Mustang down on the ground so we can do the roof. The roof is in serious bad shape. I found dozens and dozens of holes, and you can see where I welded some of them up here, and I got to go back and make sure there's no pinholes. But here's a spot right here. This is where they used a slide hammer to pull the dents out, and then they put Bondo in it. We got Bernie online, Godfather Customs. If you live in Florida and you need a Jeep restored, call Godfather Customs. But so that's the Mustang. I ended up finishing this rocker panel yesterday, last night. That's where I stopped, around 7:30, 8 o'clock. And when I do body work, I mean, I really detail the body work. This is where we had to spot weld the quarter panel on. And I go in there and I final finesse everything. I'm even on the door jamb here. You can see right here where I final finessed it, and I used some polyester filler to make that really look clean. So when it's painted, it's going to be smooth as glass. I went ahead and finished up the seam sealing yesterday. This is the seam sealer that I put on here, and then I went down the corner here, and then I repeated my process on the other side. What did we do with the hood? Let me tell you what's going on with the hood. This is an aftermarket hood, and this hood actually stuck out to about right here. So it was way out here, and then, of course, it went to nothing down here. So what I had to do is I literally had to cut a section out of that hood and then weld it all back together. That was a very, very intense and extreme job. That took about 4 or 5 hours to do that whole job. But if the fender was on here, you'd see that the body line is flawlessly perfect. And on both sides, it's completely an even gap. And I'm hoping that we don't have to do that to the trunk lid, but we might have to. And speaking of trunk lids, we're possibly going to have to do that to this trunk. Well, maybe not. I mean, the gap is pretty clean on it. The gaps do look even, so maybe not, because this was an aftermarket quarter panel on the Camaro here. But let's get back to the Mustang. That's what I'm doing. That's where I'm at. And my goal is to have this thing in primer tomorrow night. Now, once I get the body work done, we'll be putting it in the paint booth building, and then Minnie, the body shop girl, will tape it all off, and then we'll get it in primer. So the first primer that we will use, we are going to use some super build on the roof. There's no way out of it. We got to do it. Here's another spot where I welded up, and then there's some under here. But there's no way. We got to put some super build on the roof. So the first thing we'll do is we'll put this whole thing in epoxy primer, and then I will go around to where the bodywork is, and I will spray super build on the roof of the car, and then I'll take polyester primer, that Evercoat G2, whatever it is, and I'll go ahead and get wherever the bodywork is so I can feather all that out, and we'll get this thing laser straight. This car is going to be red. And I think it's basically it's actually the same color as this. I think we went with Dodge. No, I don't think we did go with Dodge Viper red. I think we went with the factory. We went with the factory candy apple red on this. The owner wants it factory candy apple red. For some reason, I was thinking we went Dodge Viper red, but no, we didn't. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, working on everybody else's car because I don't have time to work on my money pit. I don't have time to do that. I wish I could. I'd love to get this thing out on the road, and I'd really like to see if I can drive it or not, if it's even drivable. I'm in the process of making this street legal. That's what I want to do with it. The only thing I've actually done is put those seats in there and mounted them. I've taken the gas tank out. I got to get gas tank to put in. I got a lot of stuff to do, but I can't, and I won't, because I got other more important things to do called knee surgeries. And this car will be sitting here when I get done, and hopefully we'll get that bad boy on the road and running someday. We don't know when, but someday. We'll see you later. Take it easy. And always remember, life isn't as bad as you think if you do one thing in life. And I'm not even going to tell you what it is because I tell you all the time. Take it easy. We'll see you later. I got to get to work.